Hi, I'm Julie. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to share with you how I tackle the bookkeeping process for my small business in antique and vintage reselling. Now, I am not a tax specialist or anything like that, but the person who prepares my taxes is. So I try to do my best with my bookkeeping throughout the year so that I'm prepared to be able to accurately report both my sales and my expenses for my antique business at the end of the year. If you're new here, my name is Julie, and I currently have an antique booth in an antique store. I do not currently sell online, but I may choose to do so in the future. Here's everything I need to be able to work on my bookkeeping today: my laptop, and I use Microsoft Excel. And then I have a stack of just handwritten notes that I go through about everything that I bought with a description and how much I paid for it. Then I have a stack here of just 3 pay periods worth of checks, and I have a cup of tea to help me get through this process. It's not my favorite part of this, but it's necessary. As you can see, my process is not very sophisticated. This is the back of the envelope that one of my checks came in. I make a little checklist for myself. Whether or not I've deposited my check, that's the easy and fun part. Whether or not I have added everything into Excel, meaning what sold and how much it sold for. And then whether or not I've paid Sylvia, who is a friend that I sell on consignment for in this pay period. Sylvia didn't have anything that sold, so I just write no Sylvia. But if she did have some stuff, I would write pay Sylvia, and I check that off when I paid her. So there's that. Inside of these envelopes are my sales report that the bookkeeper does for the store. I share these in my booth sales report videos, and then they give us all of our price tags back on a booth slip, so I know exactly what sold because I can identify it by how I described it, which is going to match up to how I described it in Microsoft Excel. So let's get to it. Okay, so you're going to want to do this first. You want to enter every single item that you bought and how much you paid before you start trying to deal with your sales report, because you want all this stuff to be in here before you go to try to find it. When I'm going to find the items in Microsoft Excel to write down how much they sold for, I go by my description because that's how I would have entered it in the first place, and not by the description, which is on this, which a lot of times is a lot more abbreviated. You also can't necessarily go by what you put on the price tag to be able to record how much the item sold for. It's usually the case, but if a customer asks for a discount, that's what's going to be here. So this is how much the item truly sold for. In this case, the Texaco collector's toy is the second one. The customer did not ask for a discount. As you can see, it sold for the full $20 that I had put on the tag. Here you can see my Microsoft Excel spreadsheet that I use to keep up with my bookkeeping. It looks like in 2021, I kept up with my rent that I paid and my supplies that I purchased in Excel, and then I haven't done that since 2021 because honestly, I just don't spend a lot on supplies, so it's not that laborious of a task just to add up what I spent. And then rent is easy because for me, it's just $178 times 12 months of the year. Here's the part that's more laborious. I write a description of every single item that I bought, how much I paid for it, how much the price actually was that I paid for it with the sales tax. And Microsoft Excel calculates this for me. It's just a formula that it uses. Our sales tax in Georgia is 7%. So basically Microsoft Excel is just multiplying the price that I paid times 1.07, and that's the amount that I paid with the tax. Now this is important, is to keep up with what year the item sold, and then finally the price that the item sold for. Now you're going to see exactly how many items I have in this spreadsheet. It's in the thousands. So I'm just going to start with my little handwritten list and type in a description: wooden toy toolkit. I paid $4.09 for it. With the tax, that was $4.38. Okay, now I'm just going to go and enter the next. Corningware coffee percolator. I paid $5.99 for it, and with the tax, that's $6.41. And I'm just going to keep going down the list. Ellis pottery pitcher. I paid $7.09 for it, and then it calculates the tax again. Ooh, I found some Pyrex. Pyrex Cinderella bowl. And this is the size of the bowl. Number 444. That just indicates the size of the bowl. It's stamped on the bottom of the Pyrex. The pattern is Town and Country. And I paid $1.05 for it. Next, Corel ice cream bowls. The pattern was Woodland Brown. And I had 2 of them at $1.01 each. So I'll just copy and paste. And that's how that works. Now I'm going to take one of my envelopes with all of my return booth tickets in them, and I'm just going to go into Microsoft Excel and find the actual item and mark down how much I made on it. The first item that sold says Daffodils Metal Art, so I'm going to go Control F for find, and I'm going to start typing in daffodil. Hit enter, and both of these actually sold on the same day. The Daffodil Metal Art, I paid $2.09 for it. It sold for $8, and it sold in 2024. And the tulips one also sold for $8. So I'm going to enter that in. The next thing that sold was a Monkey Pod napkin holder. Monkey Pod snack server, that's not it. So I'm going to keep asking Excel to find more instances of the word Monkey Pod. And there it is, the napkin holder. So it sold for $16 in the year 2024. Next, I have a booth ticket that says brass vase, and that's how I labeled it. It's not very descriptive, but let me just type in brass and see what comes up. Brass ducks? Nope. Candlesticks? Okay, this is it. There was a brass vase with dolphins and one with flowers, and the one with the dolphins is still there. So it must have been the one with the flowers. And it sold for $16 in 2024. And that's all I do until it's time for my tax worksheet. This is all I do in terms of going through my checks and my reports for the whole year. And that's basically it. It's not the most fun part of my business. I much more enjoy the going out and shopping and sourcing my items. And then I really enjoy setting up my booth and making them look pretty in the booth. I also enjoy editing YouTube videos. So it's not that I don't like sitting down at my computer. It's just, this is just kind of like a very cut and dry, very non-creative task. Keeping up with all of these descriptions and how much I paid and just plugging it all into Excel. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but a little bit of work goes a long way into knowing for sure how much you're actually making on this business and being able to accurately report your expenses and your earnings when it comes time for tax season, and for tax season not to be just a complete nightmare. It is definitely worth sitting down and putting in this effort as I go through the year. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.